Word.
Hey, thank you for joining us for yet another Thursday to Thrive. We are talking real estate, we're talking money, we're talking investments, and specifically for those people that have heard about this idea that we've got this platform with MWR Real Estate for allowing you to buy, sell, flip, and invest in real estate where experts do the work for you versus you having to do it yourself. There's a difference. And I couldn't think of anybody better to introduce to this conversation than one of the national leaders in our MWR real estate movement when it comes to change agents. And I tell people all the time, change agent is different than a real estate agent. Real estate agent will sell you a house. Change agent, if you let them, they'll change your life. And Stephanie Stewart is changing people's lives. Her brand is Educate to Own out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And she teaches people the process for buying a home, helps them qualify for and get into the right home, and even has strategies that she makes a part of her practice to making sure they pay off the home in record time so that they become homeowners, not just property managers for the mortgage company. Does that sound like the kind of person you want to hear from?
Absolutely.
Well, don't let me hold it back from you any longer. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Hey,
Okay.
Educate on herself, Stephanie Stewart.
Thank you for that warm introduction. I mean, definitely being able to share so much with so many different people, but most definitely is being able to build a positive relationship with you as well with the Extra Digit movement and Make Wealth Real, where we're able to just share this information with so many different people across the globe to be able to really go ahead and help them out when it comes to getting into saving, making, and growing their assets. So without further ado, I want to go ahead and present to you some information on flipping properties. So this is definitely one of my favorite conversations because it's something that I do on a regular basis where I just see a lot of properties in my community that have just been ran down. People may have left stuff there. It may be abandoned over some time. Maybe they fell through with the taxes. There's these distressed owners who just want to get rid of the house and the neighborhood doesn't necessarily want to see it, but it's a matter of going from this to that. What is the before and after full effect? If it has all of that, do you have the image or they have the vision to be able to go into a property, see this stuff and be like, you know what? I'm going to just move this stuff, put up some cabinets and whatever else and make something that is beautiful. Because you can either get with that or you can get with this. Really just being able to see that before and after effects, because quite honestly, the profit margin of getting into real estate is phenomenal. I mean, agent is one thing, but investor,
Yes.
we're sometimes talking about over 100K in profit right now, just because we had some, resources, teams, some people that are available to go ahead and do that before and after. So let's talk about fix and flip, or basically fix and flop. Fix and Flop was a show when I was working at the YMCA and I was working with the kids. The kids, they're cute, so you play with them. And I kind of forgot that as you get older, you kind of can't play on the playground no more. But anyway, I broke my arm. And when I broke my arm, I was watching HGTV for about 3 months straight until my bones decided that they wanted to heal. When I watched this show, it made it seem like I could do anything. I could pick up a property and I could just get to that next step. But what I also saw is that with them people, they had a team of experts with them. They had some contractors, they had some plumbers, some roofers. They had all this other stuff together to the point where I said, okay, I can do it. Right. Some kind of like it. I had to figure out who's going to be a part of my team. Who was going to put that roof together? Who was going to put that siding together? Who was going to do the plumbing? Who was going to finance these materials, let alone put in the time and effort to really go ahead and get to that next step? So when it came to flipping, it's not that I wasn't interested in it. It's that I didn't know who was going to partner with me to get to the next step. It was plain and simple that flipping ain't easy. When it came to cost per materials, labor, all that stuff, it's either I had the money in my back pocket or I had to go through financing. When it comes to financing as an investor, you have to be what's considered a seasoned investor. A seasoned investor means you've done more than your first flip before they just give you money. This is how kind of like how banks would do as far as checking your credit to see if, you know, you've actually been able to pay people back and things like that. You know, it's a lot of money when it comes into flipping properties. Can somebody trust you to utilize their resources to do what it is that you said that you were going to do? Sometimes people who are investors, they don't have an exit strategy. They find a house, say it's a good deal, say they get the contractors in there, they make the flip, but they didn't actually market to any buyers. They don't have relationship with realtors who can sit up here and say, oh, I have these buyers for you. And then not along, go ahead and get to the actual contractors. I mean, I don't know how often you called the contractor to do something, but I literally called a contractor to put up drywall in a basement, and it took them 3 months and $16,000 to complete.
Wow.
Now I ain't no contractor, but I'm positive that math didn't add up. But it's a hustle that some of these contractors do, where you have to really be able to know who's on your team to know that you guys are all on the same page and the money that you put in is going to be what goes to the next level. Make sense?
Yes.
Yep.
So the question, do you have what it takes? Yes, this before and after is amazing, but really have you considered what goes into making this happen? On top of that, you still got life. So say you did sign up to do that flip. Can you still go and handle life's ups and downs? If you're putting up that roof, are you okay to still go to work through your 9 to 5 and then I guess putting up the roof between 6 and 8 before the sun goes down? Or are you trying to work overtime to then pay for those materials, knowing that the taxes have already eaten up your paycheck a lot? Things like debt. When you go into a flip, sometimes you're going to put yourself in debt. You still got labor, you still got materials, you're still taking out a loan if you don't have the money already in your back pocket. In addition to that, you still have whatever life you already had. Maybe that was a marriage, maybe that was a divorce, maybe that was kids, maybe that was school, maybe that was medical bills. The list goes on. Maybe it was a house. The list goes on of the things that put us in debt, especially like big business. We just left December. Wait, is it technically still December? Yes, we just left December where we had Christmas. Christmas, I don't know if you guys noticed, but it's advertised in October. This means they have 2 months to tell you to spend your money here because that big fluffy bear looks so much better on Christmas Day being opened up versus any other 365 days in the year. But no, not to necessarily take a big push on Christmas or gift giving or anything like that. After Christmas, you still got New Year's, Valentine's Day, St. Patty's Day, Easter, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Labor Day. Had a whole holiday just for, working. And the list goes on where every month there's something else where I'm throwing my money at it. It doesn't matter. It's a new sale item. It's buy one, get one 50% off, or Bath and Body Works favorite, buy 3, get 1 free. But I only came for 1. Really just the cost of inflation going up after time and time after every year. Cost of gas, things of school supplies, everything that goes up, even the cost of groceries right now. But these are all things that we can't control, but we can control some of the things. And what we can control is the cash flow that we get from the partnerships that we make and the ways to produce income. When it comes to producing income, there's 4 ways. You're either an employee, so somebody who has a job, works 9 to 5 or first, second, third shift, go to work, get paid. That's the mindset. If you are tired of working a job and you understand that a job will never pay you enough to get fully ahead, you'll move into what's called self-employed. Self-employed is one step closer to getting to that real wealth. But what you really did is you traded in your job to now own that job. So now instead of you going in and punching a clock to be that cashier, now you are the cashier, you are the door greeter, you are the order specialist, you are customer service, you are security, you are your marketing team, you are all these different things. So now you're stressing out time from it. When you become a business owner, you learn how to leverage a system. So you leverage that roofer, you leverage that plumber, you leverage these different people to go ahead and make sure the whole system works as one, because the end game really is to end up as an investor. Investor means you can put down some money, you can make your money grow money. You can make money on your money. You can go do things like wake up with your kids and take them to school and go ahead and do soccer practice without worrying about making that meeting or catching that overtime or doing that next thing because your money has grown to make things comfortable for you. The main difference between the investor and the employee is that the investor is 5% of the population. The employee only has 5% wealth. We want to be in the investor side. That's why we brought into flipping properties. It's the whole mindset of I refuse to fail. But as we said before, I'm a realtor located in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. There's not quite, even if I did have the money, do I have the time, the skills, resources, the knowledge, and the patience to go ahead and make this deal go through? When it comes to flipping a house, isn't I bought a house on Monday, I closed on it on Tuesday, I completed the renovations on Wednesday, it was listed on Friday, and somebody bought it on Monday.
Not.
Reality check, it doesn't happen that fast. There's some things that you have to budget for and understand that it takes patience. Because when it comes to the investor formula, everybody knows, well, I'm not gonna say everybody knows, what is highly advertised when it comes to investor. It's the after repair value times 70% minus the repairs is the maximum offer price. Sounds simple. Cool. Now what the real one is in order to maximize your profit, you have to minus your resale value, the purchase price, the repair cost, the buying cost, the holding cost, the finance cost, and the selling cost. Or the money you put in up front minus the actual funding amount, or the wealth principle, whoever put their money together, and that's going to be what you actually put in. Things to consider during this process is going to be the renovation expenses. So your scope of work. So many times I've seen some of my clients come to do a flip and they're only looking at the scope of work, and the scope of work they're looking at is mostly cosmetic. They didn't even think about having an inspector come in to look at the electrical panel. It's not just about roofing. It's not just about tiles and, painting the walls. It's a renovation expense. There's homeowners insurance when you have a home. When you buy a flip, you own that property for the time being. You have to have homeowners insurance. I don't know what it is in different states. In Wisconsin, you have to have homeowners insurance. This insures you against theft, fire, all this other jazz. And then you have to have utilities. So utilities are going to be energy, heat, water. You want to make sure your plumbing works. You want to make sure your heat works. You want to make sure your, energy works. Now, these need to work if you're going to sell the property, but let alone you need to maintain these things so that pipes don't burst. You do a whole renovation, the pipe bursts, and now the whole downstairs is flooded. You just threw away all the money. You just trying to save money by not keeping the heat on. So just things to kind of keep in mind to consider, if you're doing security systems or anything like that. And then at the end of those things, you have your final market. Who's going to buy it? Who are you marketing to? Who's picking it up? Is it going to sit there? If it sits there for 30 days, are we okay? If it sits there for 300 days, are we okay? Do you have it in your budget to really make sure that you have what it takes? And I don't say any of this to discourage. I'm just saying it so you know what you're getting yourself into. Did I scare anybody away yet?
No.
Okay, awesome. So let's talk about funding resources. So as discussed, you can either have the money in your pocket, or you're going to use a Commonwealth principle using other people's money. Whose money? That depends on who you want to choose. So when I was researching this, I found out that there are 8 different ways that you can go ahead and use other people's money to go ahead and get ahead. Private lenders usually have higher down payments. Hard money lenders usually have super high fees. Wholesaling, you need partners to go ahead and make everything go. Partner investors are great if you know who to partner with. Home equity only works if you have a home to pull equity from. Option to buy, exactly what it is, an option, not necessarily saying that you have the right to buy, like in regular offer to purchase. Seller financing, say you put the down payment down, you take care of repairs, say that seller wants to sell the property, you're not on the deed, and now, boom, you just got out of whatever money you had, and that seller still sold the house because they had rights to the house and you didn't. Or crowdfunding. Hey friend, does everybody have $30,000? Great. Can we all put it in on this property? Great. Can we all agree to hire these people to get it done? Great. Not saying it can't happen, just saying you need a lot of cooperation to make things go. Now, out of all of these, one stood out to me to have the less stress. options to really lose my head and not cuss everybody out in 6 different languages. I had to turn on my investor mindset. Warren Buffett taught me that rule number 1 is universal rule. Let's not pause on Warren Buffett. Universal rule, don't mess with anybody's money. Warren Buffett rule, don't lose money. Rule number 2, as I said before, don't mess with my money and don't lose money.
Mhm.
If everybody can agree on these common principles, the world will be a better place. But how do we not lose money? The thing I've noticed is that if you give somebody $1 million and you don't give them experts and or a goal plan of what to do with it, they'll lose it every time.
Mhm.
If you give somebody that same $1 million who has some people around them who understand wealth principles, who understand compound interest, who understands the wealth principle of real estate, knowing that 90% of the wealthiest people in the world invest in real estate, to be able to have access to these people, it's really just a matter of who's on your team.
Yes.
So who's on my team? On my team is Make Wealth Real Financial. Make Wealth Real Financial has 2 ways to get started. You're either going to be a customer or you're going to be a business partner. The customer side is for $80 a month. This takes care of taxes, bills, debt, credit, wealth accumulation. So everything you need to become qualified for a loan, they take care of. Everything that deals with putting more cash flow into your pocket, they take care of. Excuse me. Or you can become a business owner. So that's going into that right side of the cash flow quadrant from Robert Kiyosaki. That's going into being able to have over 400 tax deductions, to be able to have an instant pay raise, to have positive cash flow, because we understand that 2 jobs are made for 2 people. And no matter how many 24 hours in a day, I'm still going to get tired if I have to overwork myself.
Mhm.
But being able to utilize the leverage systems that the government already puts out there, like a business, something that they already incentivize, for $40 more, I'm able to participate in the rules of the wealthy and go ahead and use that as leverage to get to the next step. Make Wealth Real Financial provides a complete financial makeover. They're saving you money, they're growing you money, as well as helping you make money. I don't mind making money, but making money sometimes is a turnoff for people who feel like they have to do extra work. So let's not go into making money, let's go into saving money. How about the $12 million that they've been able to save people just by being able to utilize tax savings? Or the over 12,000 people that were able to have credit increases between 50 and 150 points. The list goes on and on. Just be able to, I'd rather help people save money so that they can do what they want to do with their money. Now, when you're given extra money, so if I put $500 on the table right now, and I say it's free for all, go ahead and grab it. If you take that $500, you have 2 options. You can either spend it on shoes, food, a trip, whatever, or you can choose to grow that into an investment vehicle. By you being able to grow it, whether it's through compound interest, land banking, real estate, whatever, it's a way to go ahead and make your money increase over time. Then we can talk about making money, because you're making money on money that you already had. You end up to making money becomes so much more easier, because now it's passive and residual and it's already coming in because you already took the steps to go ahead and get to that category. One thing I love about Make Wealth Real is they do 6 things, but 3 things in particular. They decrease my taxes, debt, expenses, and stress. Because my stress is down, I can now have an abundance and cash flow, income, and credit scores, which now puts me in a better position to become an investor. If I'm going to utilize their system, that now gives me the ability to have tax reduction strategies, a debt-free lifestyle, credit restoration strategies to be able to build my credit and eliminate my debts. If all these things are done, now I have more positive cash flow to actually put into my flip project. And they didn't just do it for me, they did it for some other people too. Let's talk about almost 200 points in an increase. Let's talk about almost $400 per paycheck, every paycheck. Paying off a car in less than a year. Paying off the IRS, a whole 4 figures, just because we had some experts and some resources available that when somebody else told us no, we had a solution to say yes. Now, I don't want to just talk about me because there are some cool people online. So please, people who are online, I see a Richard David. You guys can play any mini, miny, mo, or hot potato. Please let me know how the services as far as Make Wealth Real Financial has been able to better leverage you in a business mindset to grow your investments. That sounds really weird, but I'm pretty sure somebody understands what I'm trying to say.
Well, David, you want to start, or I can. I talk about this all day. And matter of fact, before I say anything about that, so David, I'll leave you the floor if you'd like to.
No, go right ahead.
One of the things that's most exciting to me about the partnership with MWR Financial is it gives you a set of experts that overlay the operating system you already have. Meaning, if you had a strategy, for me, it helped me accelerate some things I was already doing. Meaning, that combination of tax reduction, debt elimination, and bill negotiation helped me create the cash flow that's actually funding my investments. So a lot of people, when they start thinking about investments in real estate, investments in property, ask themselves, well, where am I going to get the money to invest? Well, it turns out that in my case, I was already making the money. It was just being given to somebody else, because here's how it went. Tax reduction experts helped me get a raise in pay for my job the first year. So it's $636 a check. That's $1,272 a year. That was almost $1,300 that I was overpaying in taxes simply because nobody looked at the front end of my taxes for years. I only did tax preparation. I don't know if anybody else is guilty of that. But then the second part was taking that $1,272 and applying it to the debt elimination strategy. It showed me how to strategically knock out $52,000 in credit card debt. Now, what that did, between the $1,300 from work, the extra $1,800 or so from debt elimination, we're close to $3,000 in positive cash flow that the experts helped me get back from the IRS and from the banks. Then this is something that I wasn't expecting. I was just following the instructions. They said the next target for your debt elimination cycle is this rental property that you have down in Forest Park, Georgia. They helped me pay off a house I was planning to pay off about 8 to 10 years from now, last year. So that now that house is cash flow positive. We're able to do some things with bill negotiation to the point where just the saving portion of the membership helped bring back close to $6,000 a month in cash flow into our house, so that now it wasn't me having to find the money. It was just getting it back from the thieves that took it and putting it to work for our family. And then in our partnership, the wealth accumulation piece, you want me to talk about that now? You want me to save that for later?
No, go ahead.
Because as an investor, they gave me different vehicles to work with. Meaning, one of the things that's a part of our membership, there are three concepts that I love. So there's the land banking, the private reserve account, and our real estate partnership, which is new. At the time, my goal was, once I paid off the first rental property, I was going to buy another one. Up until then, I don't know if anybody else is like me. The best place I had for saving money for an investment was in my credit union, meaning, Crystal, I call it my offshore account.
Okay.
Because my credit union is in Houston, so I don't have a checkbook or a card for it. So if I put money over there, direct deposit, it grows faster. Nobody touches it. But turns out the credit union's only paying me a little bit more than the bank down the street was. They're paying me right at 1% interest.
Oh.
With MWR, one of the things they introduced me to is a private reserve account. And we'll probably talk about, especially other people that want to do the capital contribution piece, want to do flip properties. What it gave, private reserve account, is a way that we can be our own bank. So if you're writing that in your notes, is that we can be our own bank. And the way the private reserve account works, and it's an insurance-backed vehicle. So it is one of those things. It's a unique investment property. And wealthy people have been doing this for about 40 years. Like, it's in, did either of you ever read Tony Robbins' book, Mastering the Money Game? This is that thing he was talking about. So I was just excited to find a way where I finally had access to what I was reading about and experts to help me use it. Because with the private reserve account, I was able to put here's a characteristic. One of the best things about being your own bank isn't that you keep the money, it's that you get to use the money. Like, a bank's business is loaning money. Yeah. Whose money do they usually loan? our money.
Ours.
They get a great return. We get none of the money. With the private reserve account, I was able to put the money in and do the arbitrage process that the bank does. So that, 50,000 to fund the account, but now 25,000 that I want to take out to invest in something else. The account still grows at the rate of the market. Meaning, think about this. Most banks, 1% or less is what you're seeing on any savings.
Yeah.
My private reserve account grew 12% in one and 14% in the other last year. It's 14,000 times more.
Wow.
So that the money's actually making money when I pull the 25,000 out for my investment. So the numbers that Stephanie's going to go through in the capital contribution, this was my target. I said, I want to put about 25,000 in something, see what I can do. While that 25,000 is working in my flip, it's still growing at 14%, like all 50,000 is still in the account. Now the money's doing two things instead of one, and being parked at the credit union in Houston, waiting for me to send them an electronic funds transfer when I finally make a deal. Oh, the Tony Robbins book is Money Mastering the Game. Mastering the game. And so many of the concepts that are in that book, the experts in this system enable it. I was excited about that. So I'll pause right there, but just thinking about that process, one of the things that's been exciting to me is this is the only place that I've seen where from the bottom end, low end metrics, things that people have as everyday finance to investments and beyond, all in one membership and at a price point that people can afford to do it. So I'll turn it back over to you, Stephanie, because I know you're about to be featured on the national call here in a few minutes, so you got to finish so you can rest your voice.
I know, I've been to. Oh, man. But yeah, so as Richard was talking about, the thing about growing money, how to make your money make money. That's the whole thing about flips. You get into a flip because you want to grow your money. You want to make money on your money. You want to, why can't I make it big? Wait a minute. Let me figure it out. All right, cool. You want to go ahead and get those double-digit returns if possible. So as he was saying, you don't want to go for that 1%. You want to go, you said 12 and 14%?
Yep.
Them sound like credit card rates. I would love to be able to be my own bank, invest into land in the path of growth. So the land that's sitting out there and you drive past and ain't nobody paying attention to it. Then all of a sudden you drive past and they didn't build. This just happened actually down the street. They build these townhouses. Wasn't nothing over there, but they completely changed it out. And I would love to be a part of that whole, part. But the part that I want to definitely focus on is the real estate part. How we're able to go ahead and flip and get into real estate. So Make Wealth Real Financial, one of our partners, they have a real estate division. The real estate division not only helps people get into investments, but also help people buy houses, sell their houses, and in addition to flip and invest into real estate. So let's talk about the flipping part. The flipping part of real estate is being able to get into flipping properties without the headaches. They already have different partnerships where all we need is you. We already have the contractors that are available. We already have other funding resources and lines of credit. We already have somebody who's to come and do the scope of work. And we even have floor plans for depending on whatever it is that the buyer wants the property to look like. This has been a complete game changer. As a realtor here in Milwaukee, I've been able to help people get into flips, but a lot of times they get into flips because the after repair value I was talking about, that makes sense. But they didn't think about the actual end buyer of who wants it. They just hope that somebody wants it. So I love that with Make Wealth Real Financial and their flipping option, they already have the end buyer already in place. So it cuts down that holding time as far as how long you have the property outside of just repairs. Let's talk about partnership. When I was talking about ways to go ahead and use other people's money, one of the things was a joint venture or somebody else who already does flipping or getting into real estate in general. When you are and this part is direct for people who are new to get into flipping, as in you saw the income that it could produce and you wanted to go ahead and get a part of that. Say you don't have all of the money to fund the transaction. Say you don't have the end buyer or the contractors to do the work. as in a joint venture, you're going to join in as a junior partner, team up with our capital contributors, our contractors, certified realtors, and not talk down about other realtors, but only if you're certified with Make Wealth Real Financial, and then we get you that end buyer. Hey, sweetie. So
Hey,
what does it
Absidi.
mean? I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying hello to Absidi.
Oh, yeah. Ouch. So what does it mean to be a capital contributor? Or how do you become a capital contributor? Sign up and get access. And after you sign up and get access, you are going to have someone's going to give an option. You will be getting a Wyoming LLC. Why are you getting a Wyoming LLC? Because it's confidential and anonymous. This means that it gives us the ability to participate in a transaction with you. And if there so happens to be any legal issues, tax issues, or anything else that can put a lien on the property, it won't go on that property. It'll only go on your own personal, stuff. You don't want to mess with other people's money, just like we said, wealth principle number 1. After you sign up and you get your Wyoming LLC, you're going to then be invited into a junior position. This junior position now takes out that whole, oh, I've never had experience in flipping before, because now you're already teamed up with the seasoned investor. U.S. Housing Exchange has been doing properties for years now, so they are well over being considered a seasoned investor, so that you're able to partner with them with no questions asked. As the capital contributor, all we really need from you is to have 20% down for the down payment of the property. Make Wealth Real, the U.S. Housing Exchange, is able to find the other 80%. So let's put it down in numbers, because me, math, percentages are kind of tricky. So if I buy a property for $100,000 and the property needs $50,000 of work, and the after repair value is $200K, your LLC, so the capital contributor, the person who's participating in the flip, they need to have that 20%. So that's $20,000 down payment. U.S. Housing Exchange is now taking care of the property and the rehab. That just took off so much financial issues from you to the point that now you're learning on a hands-on experience without wrapping up all your money. And not to mention, we already have an end buyer. Us as a certified realtors, we're going to go ahead and look for these properties. So not the properties that are on the market that are overinflated, as in we go ahead and we get these lists and we knock out these lists for properties that people don't even know about. By doing this, we're able to go ahead and already have the buyer pick out their property and agree to pay for the after repair value of the property, which gives you now an exit strategy after the flip is done. So now you're not holding on to this property for months and months and months and months.
Mhm.
Times are going on. It's not selling. You still got a security system. You still got an energy bill. You still got a water bill. You still got to check on it. And all these other things that, are now being held up because you didn't have that end buyer. After we find the end buyer, we're going to go ahead and get them with the construction team, where they can actually sit down with them and say, I love this house, but I really want hardwood floors. I really want the kitchen to look like this. I want the bathroom to look like this. I like these 2 packages that you guys have already produced because I'm not really an interior designer, but that looks nice. Put that in my house. We already have the team that can do all of that for them, and the buyer picks out what they want. This ensures that they're going to keep paying their mortgage and they're going to love their house because they designed it, versus getting something that they got an accepted offer on that they kind of settled on because they had to get a house and the market's crazy. You have a question? Okay. So as far as capital contributors, so what they do is they put down the earnest money with the title company as a regular contract, as a regular transaction. And the capital contributor is notified of the actual transaction. The capital contributor doesn't actually put any money down until we put the 20% down. MWR takes care of all the paperwork. Now, for my capital contributors, yes, you can get into the program, but your money has to sit in a bank account for 2 months due to anti-money laundering laws. That's just the government, way things go. So this eliminates.
You don't want to pull it out of that duffel bag of cash.
You cannot pull it out of a duffel bag. It cannot be under, in your house or anything like that. And not saying that you didn't work hard for it. the government is going to just ask where it came from. If you haven't paid taxes on it, I'm pretty sure they're going to ask you to report it so they can take their cut out first. But anti-money laundering is a requirement that we have to still abide by. So that's why we have to verify that the 20% that you're using has been in an account for at least 2 months.
Okay.
You're able to sit down with everybody on the team, go through all of the contracts, understand how the whole process works. And the benefit about being in this joint venture program is that you're able to participate in flips without producing all of the money, and you're getting flips under your belt so that when you now go to the lenders yourself, whether it's hard money, private money, I hope your own money, or whatever you do next, now you are a seasoned investor. You take out of that whole, oh, nobody wants to lend to me on great rates because I'm new.
Oh, and now this is a part that's particularly attractive to me as somebody who wants the money to work even harder. That 20% is per annum.
Yes.
So they pay 20% per annum, even though right now the turnaround time on flips is 4 to 6 months. So say from our scenario earlier, I took 20K from my own bank, put it into this deal. For 4 to 6 months, they're going to pay me 20% of that 20K. It's $4,000 that it made over here, and it still made 12 to 14% over there. Money doing two things at once is exciting.
Well, that makes the return infinite because you're getting money. Yeah, that second set of return is infinite. Okay.
Exactly. And this is why people invest into real estate, because it's super cool like that.
Well, it's the private reserve account that makes that possible. My question is, can you do this with money that you have in an IRA?
Yes.
Yes.
And then
As
for
long,
this,
as long as you got it self-directed, but
yeah,
know that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then for the LLC setup, who pays for the setup and the decimal? And do you use, if I do multiple deals, is it the same LLC I use, or do they dissolve that LLC at the end of this transaction and then form another one for the next transaction? And who handles those fees and those taxes?
So there is an additional fee. I think it was $240 that I paid to have the lawyer through MWR set up my Wyoming LLC for me. Meaning, so they did all the paperwork and all of the setup. So once they did the paperwork and processing, I just had to sign off on who the contributors were in my capital fund, who our capital contributors are named Richard Harden. It's only
Right.
And then as far as the survival of that, I think we're only doing one deal at a time per LLC. So if you were to do two at a time, you might have to start another.
But if I do one, and if I do them sequentially, I keep the same LLC.
Yep.
So one closes March 31st, April 1st, I'm in another deal, I can use the same LLC.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And that's with any flip you do. Like, one thing I've noticed is that some of my investors, they don't put all their properties in one LLC, because if somebody ever sues you, they can sue you for everything that LLC has acquired. So instead of going over everything, they'll go over after just that one thing. And because this one is anonymous, all your flips are just you. So not saying, if you owe your wife some money, go ahead and get all these random LLCs so you're going to pay her. But it's a way to be anonymous to go ahead and still grow your money.
I'm anonymous to a lot of people except her.
Well, that might not work for you.
So, okay, this is very, very interesting. Now, as far as the properties are concerned, so I understand that U.S. Home Exchange has their group of properties and or their floor plans that they use, but the floor plans will vary greatly and the housing designs will vary greatly from location to location, city to city. I live in a townhouse. Richard lives in a palatial.
In Barrington Manor.
Yes. So he lives in the Hardin Manor over there. So that's a very different floor plan. So they have, I'm sure they've got it worked out to be in with the different floor plans. And then, you know, you're in Milwaukee, Crystal's in South Carolina, Richard and I are in Georgia. Do they have people in all these different places?
Right.
As we grow. And a part of it, this is the blessing that we have being early, is that's why they pay us like this.
Mhm.
Meaning, if you think about the amount of money that Stephanie makes above what she would normally make on a deal this size as a certified realtor, is that a part of the onus for us is being able to identify people and identify places that fit. So when Crystal, when you were talking about that idea with the with the probate housing the other day, it was why that was just so like such a epiphany for me. I was like, absolutely, that's a category of people that don't have the same access,
Yeah.
but need the same help. So that's the blessing it's the blessing of where we are, is not everybody knows about this. Like one day this will be a household word. One thing I will point out now, Stephanie, were you going to talk about monitoring and oversight and all of that stuff with the app? I'll let you do that since I know it's slides for it. But one of the things that Mario and Todd, those are the two primary executives for U.S. Housing Exchange that interface with us. They're very specific about what it takes to be in our contractor category, and they're aggressive about scoping work, because that's what I find for most of the people that I see around here at Georgia REIA. Everybody has, Georgia Real Estate Investors Association, Georgia REIA. Is a lot of people that had those nightmare stories about a contractor that came and cost them as much as they wanted to in the house because they didn't know any better. They're taking away that guesswork from us as new investors of having to vet the contractor, scope the job, and get completion, but we still get to monitor their process. And it's really unique to me, the way that they've set up for that to happen. So let me let Stephanie finish that part.
Yeah, and Stephanie, I have to commend you on being able to just continue to do this presentation.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
That is an entrepreneur baby right there. She's like, I know you're on Zoom. I'm gonna just come on over here so that everybody knows Mama is working.
That's right.
Mhm.
This is why I do what I do.
Learning about the money early.
Yes,
Learning about the money
please.
Been
early.
working since she was 6 months old. She left the hospital and started working. Oh man, but yes, we want this one. Share that. Okay, so capital contributor continue. So when we close, the paymaster, i.e. U.S. Housing Exchange, they wire the payment to the title company, and it closes like a regular transaction. The construction team will then come in to apply for the construction permits. So when we were talking about the buyer, to touch on your point that you're talking about with the different people in different states. Yes, we are trying to open up all 50 states. We're actually looking for agents in all 50 states because my MLS up here is not compatible to the MLS in Atlanta. But the benefit is that as we're growing, we have the ability to hit all 50 states. EXP Realty is kind of cool where we have agents in all 50 states, but I really want to be able to team up with all realtors in all states, regardless of brokerage, just because we all work with investors. And this is just something that, we should be able to provide to a service for our clients.
Yeah.
But the floor plan is not necessarily like you have to have this floor plan. It's more so like, what kind of countertops do you want? What kind of cabinets do you want? You get what I'm saying? Gotcha. It's not really like, oh, you're going to move this wall and everything like that. It's more so, how are you custom designing it? The layout is going to be based off whatever house that you pick. So if you're in a townhome and I'm in a house, our layout's not going to be the same. But if you want your, Serenity tub and a waterfall, you can have that in your place. But for me, I want a decked out kitchen. So you can also work out the budget too. So say they give you a budget. With that budget, you can do whatever you want. If it's anything that's over that budget, you have to just pay the difference for. So not saying that you can't get it done, just work that out with the construction team. So what I love about it, especially for our first time home buyers, is sometimes they have to get a house that they don't really like. This is a way for them to be able to, why do you keep doing that? For you to be able to customize it. Now, what I also love about this is because one of the biggest things that made people fail in their flips is the contractors. A contractor can make or break your transaction. Why? Because they're the ones that produce the scope of work. Why? Because they're the ones that do the work. Why? Because we're the ones that have to wait until they get done putting up the drywall for 4 months in a basement. So how do we eliminate all, let me not cuss, foolery? How do we eliminate all of that? Well, how we do it is U.S. Housing Exchange gives you an app as a capital contributor. On your app, the properties will have cameras. You can now watch what's going on with the properties, as well as you will be getting updates when things are done. This way we can track what the contractors are actually doing and if they're actually utilizing their time effectively, or if we need to replace them. We play no games. We need deals done and money made. We're not saying that it's all money based, but it's a matter of getting the job done with the least amount of stress and frustration to the contractors, the title company, the realtor, the buyer, the seller. Like, there's too many people involved to be able to have foolery. So you download the app, you monitor what's going on, you say, yay, congratulations. They notify you when you need that, or when they need you, and happy day.
And it's one of the pretty cool things about the app. So the monitoring of the properties through cameras, because especially you got to determine what level of investor you are. I'm so excited about the idea of knowing that drywall is going in or floors are down from at my house versus driving across town to see if somebody showed up. It gives you the entry and exit codes per contractor and contract code and the scope that they sign off on. Done, check, and compliance. So it's a relief for somebody like me that likes houses. I like going to Home Depot, but a lot of the stuff I get at Home Depot is just in my garage. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Now, one other question. Do you have to be a member or a business owner to participate in the capital contribution?
To get paid. And that's the easiest way I make the dividing line. Any of the ways that MWR can compensate you, you have to be a business owner for that. So to get the additional commissions that certified realtors get, they have to be business owners.
No.
To be capital contributors, to get paid through capital contribution, they have to be business owners.
Okay, so to be a
capital.
capital.
Now, the one category where you can participate with our MWR real estate partnership as a member only without being a business partner is as one of the Fire Your Landlord home buyer programs.
Okay, but to be a capital contributor, you must be a business owner.
An owner.
Okay, cool.
And it just makes sense.
Nope.
The reason why is because you get paid. And in order for us to pay you, we need to pay you as a business.
Yep.
You're not an employee.
That's cool.
See, now we have a different conversation for realtors where we talk about how realtors get paid. Because believe me, we want to get paid. We get paid about 4 times.
Well, I'm sure
one flip.
I'm sure Crystal wants to hear about that.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Oh, I got another slide deck. I'll pull that up in a second. But yes. So us as realtors, we get paid because we're not just searching the MLS for these properties. We are helping our investors and I don't want to keep on the flippers because different states, that means so many different things. These these capital contributors. I forgot my spiel because now my whole head done went off to what different words for that meant. Anyway.
Because we're doing different things.
Right. We are doing different things to make different results. And the reason why we can do that is because you can't go on market and expect to get that 70% ARV minus all those repairs and stuff when there's 50 other buyers willing to go 20,000 over asking price for a burnt down building. So because that's a real life issue that we're dealing with, that's why as realtors knocking out those expires, knocking out those previous listings, doing neighborhood searches and things like that is going to be really what's going to benefit your business, not just for your partnership with Make Wealth Real, but as a realtor in general.
Okay.
You are now opening the doors for you to control your MLS and your listing market.
Yes.
Not saying it's a power trip, but when you're the listing agent that has all the inventory, you can sit down and enjoy time with your kid while
Yes.
they go run around and show these
And say,
properties.
yes,
Then you also have so many properties that you have an on-market list and an off-market list.
market list.
And on your off-market list can go to your buyers for this program or for the Flip Capital Contributor Program. Now you
Yes.
already have them in order and they're not even worried about these other issues. They don't have to deal with it.
Okay.
So leveraging your job already as a realtor and being able to benefit both ways.
Okay.
Now, last little spiel, and I would definitely answer questions at the end. So how do we get started? Plain and simple. We saw the app, but now how do you get started? Plain and simple, there's two ways. You're either going to be a you're either going to be a member, so the $79 a month, or you're going to be a business owner because we want to make more money in this process. The
Right.
difference is going to be either neither one of them have a contract or anything like that. You can start, quit, whatever you want to do, but it's going to be a lot more beneficial for you to stay, plug in
Yeah.
and stay. Why? Because no matter what, your credit score is going to always fluctuate. You need somebody backing you up for that because we do so many other things that it's not always a focus for us to focus on. Why? Because there's always going to be bills that come in every month that if we had somebody who negotiated those bills and said, hey, you just got $200 off of your internet bill, you're going to do a happy dance. There's no way that
Yeah.
somebody can offer you money and you're upset about it.
Right.
I mean, if you are, you just negative Nancy. I mean, there's other issues you got to deal with. Everything that we do is going to benefit you to save you more. And I don't want to keep saying you like I'm trying to be negative or anything. I'm saying you as the individual person. The
Mhm.
services are designed to help people get ahead by helping them save, make, and grow their assets. If you want to be able to grow those assets, get part of those, the 10% of the wealth, I'm sorry, the 5% of the wealthy people who are into investing, the top 10% into the population of being wealthy, that 90% of that population that is in real estate, to really go ahead and know how to grow your money, compound interest, double-digit reserve, investment parties that they don't even talk about in real life. They actually do exist. That's going to be a number one. That means you're all in, you want the experts to work for you, and you want to go ahead and make money, let alone being able to partner with us in our joint venture as a junior partner in our capital contributor program, which now invites you to be able to flip in real estate as a new or newly person into real estate, and you get around that whole no voice investor. You have seasoned investors that are willing to actually help you, train you, help you get through the deal so that you can actually go on and do it yourself. Because the idea is not necessarily for us to do every deal with you, for you to understand how the process works, and then for you to go ahead and make wealth on your own, because making wealth real is something that we definitely believe in for everybody. Brian and Bean, oh snap. Yes, so there's going to be conversation going on tonight, as well as what's today? Today is a day called Thursday. So tomorrow as well, we're going to have conversation that really talks about the time value of time versus money, being able to really have these different people around that are able to be endorsed by Les Brown and to show you the different ways of the world without having to pay thousands of dollars in college tuition. Like when I tell you I met this gentleman, Mr. Brian Bean, he just bought 20 acres. His neighbors are Denzel Washington's son and Ludacris. So when I walk through his land 3 times a year, I have to honestly ask this man, like, how did you get here? Because land ain't cheap. I mean, let's be real.
That's right. Right.
And you got to pay for that cash. There's not too many loans for that. So just being able to be around other people who's leading a whole movement within a movement. We have Ladies of Finance, we have the Millennial Movement, we have so many different things that are really going to go ahead and catapult our society and the young entrepreneurs, the young investors, everybody else in the world, even the seasoned, the older ones who just maybe just be getting started because they didn't know the information, but being able to really have that resource available. So now I'm going to drink some more water, pause for the cause, and open the floor for any questions. Before we do that, if you are tuning into the conversation and you caught the replay, please be sure to reach out to the person who invited you for more information. tune in to our next events. And thanks for tuning in.
Wow. Thank you, Stephanie.